Hey, if you love college football, stop what you're doing. This is the Nitro College Football Show. I'm Burl,
I'm straight.
and tonight we are talking week 1 of college football. Are we overreacting? We'll give you our Nitro CFB top 10, and we'll dive into our week 2 predictions. So like and subscribe, and let's get to it. This is the over-under. All right, so in the over-under, we break down this week's biggest games, and we'll give you some hot takes and decide if it's a under or over reaction. So first up, the biggest shocker of the weekend, Alabama falls to Florida State. What you think, Street?
I think Alabama may be cooked. They
Yeah.
looked weak on the lines of scrimmage. They were dominated by a team that went 2-10 last year. And there's a lot of rumblings of discourse going on in the Alabama locker room and around the program. The days of Saban are gone. And I just don't know if they are what we think they are, right? They have a super talented roster. They shouldn't have went down to Tallahassee to play a Florida State team that was rebuilt and got pushed around like that.
Yeah, it was such a surprising thing to see, and I feel like completely wrong about Alabama going into this season. I mean, it totally changes my outlook on a lot of things. This first week had some ups and downs, but yeah, Alabama does seem cooked. But at the same time, I mean, they still have the talent. But some stuff that I saw that was really interesting, that people were pointing out on Twitter, is the lack of effort and the lack of discipline that you saw from Alabama. I mean,
Right,
there were
you saw it.
plays.
You saw it last year, right?
Yeah, you
And
saw.
you
You
thought
start,
it was going to get nipped in the bud. That they were bringing in, that they realized that there were some bad things in the culture, and they were going to take care of it. They didn't show it yesterday.
no, they didn't. They didn't. And there were so many plays of people just walking around. They got pushed. They got moved. They got manhandled by Florida State. And I'll give it up to Tommy Castellanos. I mean, he was talking junk throughout the off season, and he backed it up. So he gets a gold star, right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna talk it, back it up, and damn, he did.
yeah. I mean that was the tail of this game, right? Was running the football, both from the Bama side and from the Florida State side. Florida State dominated on the ground. They ran for 230 yards on Alabama. Alabama giving up 200 yards rushing, that's unheard of. That's like, Georgia doing it last year. It was like crazy starting to see Georgia do that. Castellanos had 78 yards and certainly backed up his trash talk. But I think what was more surprising was Bama's inability to rush the football. Bama had, 87, 88 yards rushing in the whole game. They had 55 on their first drive. And their first drive looked good. They went right down the field, scored a touchdown. After that, they couldn't do anything. Their offensive line, their touted offensive line, got pushed around, lots of quarterback pressures. I mean, Caden Proctor played horribly. And they looked bad. Their offensive line looked bad. They threw the ball a lot after that because they were getting behind. Ty Simpson wasn't ungodly horrible, but made a couple bad decisions, particularly one kind of there late where he had a chance he could have ran for first down, tried to throw it to Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams dropped it. I think Ryan Williams got a concussion in this game, so he may be out for a few weeks. Just everything that seemed to go wrong for Bama in this game did.
It
And
really did.
no amount of talent was able to make up for it. You gave a Florida State team that, yes, they were god awful last year. And yes, I thought they were going to get blown out this week. And yes, all you people out there, we were wrong. But
Yeah.
they know how to win down there. They were an undefeated regular season ACC champion 2 years ago. So you gave them a chance, you gave them the confidence, and they put it to them, and Florida State picks up the win, and Bama's left to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, it was an impressive win for Florida State. I was really happy about being wrong. This is one of the few times I was really happy about being wrong. It did not hurt my feelings one bit to see Bama fall. Um, I I love that the swagger that Florida State has right now. It brings back memories of the '90s. Now, I don't think they're that, but this is a pretty big statement win. It's a big deal to beat Alabama, even when they're down. It
Absolutely.
is.
Look at the confidence it gave Vanderbilt last year.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt struggled early in the year, and then they beat Bama, and they were in every game pretty much the rest of the way. They didn't win every game, but they were in it, and they were competitive, and they pulled some upsets. And like I said, Florida State, I still don't think Florida State is going to be a national title contender, but this might give them the confidence to be somebody to be reckoned with in the ACC.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So just thinking about Alabama, I mean, are we looking at the decline of a program here?
I wouldn't say that yet. I maybe under DeBoer. I don't know. I mean, it's his second year and he's under contract for a lot of money for the next like 6 seasons, right? But
Yeah. I think
Alabama,
I saw his buyout's like 70 million.
right. Alabama has lost 4 games to unranked opponents in his first 14 games at Alabama. Nick Saban lost 4 games to unranked opponents in 17 seasons at
Yeah,
Alabama.
that was a unreal stat right there.
So, it's they have the talent. Can't say that that they can't recover, but if they don't fix the problems that are going on in the effort level and things like that, this is going to be another long season for them. They've got a very tough schedule. They've got Georgia at Athens in a couple weeks. Um, Auburn looked good this weekend, so they've always got them looming at the end of the year. Oklahoma may be a player, so this isn't a cakewalk for Alabama. They've got to play Wisconsin in a couple weeks. Like
Oh yeah.
everybody overlooked Florida State. They've got to play Wisconsin, so Bama's in trouble. Now they have the talent, and I think they have the coaching to be able to get it righted, but we'll see. I think they're going to be in for a long season, and that's not what I thought going into the year.
So overreaction, underreaction. Is Alabama cooked?
I think that's an underreaction. I think they might be cooked.
Yeah. I think it might be an overreaction.
Okay.
The trend that they have right now totally disagrees with what I just said, but they still have all that talent, and this could be one of those games that gets them right. It's like, wow, this is a shock. But
Yeah.
at the same time, they lost to Vanderbilt last year. So, I mean, if that wasn't a shock, I don't know what is.
Right.
So I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet on Bama, but it's definitely starting to crumble.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of, let's talk a little bit about the ACC. So you got Florida State, probably going to be a contender against Clemson, who lost to LSU. So over under. Corso was right. LSU is winning the Natty.
Man. Coming into this year, I knew LSU's offense was going to be pretty good, but the question was their defense, right? They put on a show last night. Defense was the name of the game across the country. Let's be honest. It wasn't just that game. It was everywhere. Top flight defenses were showing out all day. These high powered offenses that were supposed to do a lot, and these quarterbacks and stuff overall did not have as good a days as these defenses. And you saw great defense on display in that LSU Clemson game. LSU wins 17-10. Really probably should have at least been 24-10 because LSU was robbed of a touchdown.
Let's talk about that for a second. That was terrible.
It was
horrible.
That was an
awful call.
And then there was another one today in the South Carolina game. with
Yeah.
Nichols Harbor made a crazy catch and they overturned it. It was a different play, but kind of the same thing. He caught it in bounds, had feet down, and then went to the ground and dropped it, and they called it incomplete. I don't. I. It's been so long. We've had replay for 20 years in college football, and we still haven't figured out how to tell whether a pass was complete or not.
What's a complete pass?
I,
What's a catch?
I have no idea.
Maybe there needs to be a documentary on it. This was a really fun game to watch. Because like you said, the defense were playing really good. We had two top-notch quarterbacks going at it, but one definitely outperformed the other. And and looking at Cade Klubnik, he did not live up to the hype in this game.
No.
He was being billed as the best quarterback in the nation coming into this game.
He looked kind of similar to how he looked against Georgia last year.
Exactly. So that's what I was about to say.
A good defense pressuring him and making him force some not great throws and, not being able to use his legs as much. Just, he looked off. LSU's defense really impressed me because, like I said, they've struggled the last few years. And the question was, could they rebuild that? And they did. And hey, the last significant play of the game, Clemson has driven the ball down. They're close to fourth down. Got to play. Klubnik's flushed out to the right. And who's there to make the pressure to make Klubnik get rid of the ball early? It's Harold Perkins. He looked fast. And I'm telling you, if you've got him coming and he's back at full speed and back to what he was when he was a freshman, that LSU defense, combined with that high-powered offense, they could be a contender.
Yeah, I was not very high on LSU coming into this season, and they have gotten my attention. I mean, this is a big-time win on the road against a really good defense and a really good quarterback. But I just wonder if it's just like the first game of the season type thing for Cade Klubnik. Because we've seen this in the past, and then the rest of the season he kills it, and he's the greatest thing ever.
It could be.
Yep.
It could be, or it's just the quality of defense. It's fast defense has given trouble. Look what, he struggled obviously against Georgia last year. He didn't play great when they played South Carolina. So, maybe it's the quicker defenses that have the freaks on defense that can cut down his lanes and his passing lanes and things like that. But it was a good game for LSU to kind of salvage what was looking like a bad day for the SEC.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to give it to LSU. They were down 10-3 at halftime. Very little offense going on the road, hostile environment.
Got a horrible call.
And that defense shut Clemson down the whole second half of that game. No points. Only that one drive that ended in the fourth down there at the end.
Yeah.
Impressive game.
Yeah. I mean, they were able to shut down Clemson, and on the offense they had a couple guys break out as potential stars here. Caden Durham, he had a big game, rushing for 74 yards, got a touchdown, and then in the receiving game, Aaron Anderson, he had 99 yards receiving.
Like I said, Barry Brown's touchdown got called back too.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they got something cooking down there.
Yeah, they've got some good, they have a really good receiver room, hands down.
Yeah, and we knew that. When Barry and Brown's kind of your three, you're pretty good.
Yep. So, over under, was Corso right? Is LSU going to win the Natty?
It might be an overreaction right now. I know I really like what I saw and I'm impressed. But they got to keep Nussmeier healthy. He got banged around a lot. He was limping around. And
yeah, that was weird.
That defense has got to show it again.
I wonder how he hurt his leg, because when he got hit, like, it was straight on and he just fell backwards.
Well, remember there was those rumors that he had some tendonitis in his knee this summer anyway.
Ah, okay.
Remember, there was a big rumor that like he had torn up his knee, and for a day everybody was freaked out but then it came out, oh, he's got some tendinitis or whatever. So you're gonna have to protect his legs. But if the running game is strong, that's gonna help. So
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
not quite to say not. I think it's a little overreaction. Not quite to say that they're gonna win the national championship, but I think they're gonna be a contender.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a contender. I want to say that it was an underreaction because I think they have got to be one of the favorites. But it's just too early to say that. So for me, overreaction on LSU winning the Natty.
All right. So moving on to the biggest game in terms of early season stakes, we had number 1 Texas travel up to Columbus to take on Ohio State. Ohio State pulls out the win 14-7. And the question becomes, around the country going in, we had Arch Manning. Is Arch Manning the best thing ever? So the question is an Arch Manning not the star that he was hyped up to be? What you think, bro?
I think we saw a young quarterback making his first road start in one of the most hostile environments that you could play in against
Against
an
an elite
elite
defense.
defense, an
I think we
absolutely
saw that
elite
on
defense.
both sides of the football, right? I
Yeah,
think we saw 2 quarterbacks who had, Arch had started a game, but really stepping into being starters against 2 of the best defenses in the country. And, one of the most interesting things about the game was Arch did not play well, but Texas ran the ball well in the game. And
yeah,
actually, Texas actually was better on offense overall than Ohio State in the game. Um, the interesting thing I saw that, Bill Conley does this report of expected win percentages. Ohio State had the lowest expected win percentage in the country yesterday. Like it was crazy. Um, So, Texas did a really good job on defense. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, I think he only had like 4 catches. He had 2 drops, like on back-to-back plays,
yeah. He had
and
6 catches for 43, so
yeah,
not a lot.
yeah. And like I said, the Texas running game had 166 yards on the ground. Ohio State had under 100 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and in passing game, Julian Saban only threw for 126 yards.
Right.
So
So,
it wasn't like Ohio State was out there, setting the world on fire, and Arch Manning was just playing just god awful. Uh,
no.
he started to get a little bit of momentum there after halftime, and was making some good plays. Had a couple of good runs, but then there was that 3rd or 4th down where he just kind of sidearmed it and
Yeah.
was behind the running back who could have ran for days if he let him
Yeah.
on that pass.
I mean,
No,
I think what most people are pointing out about Arch Manning was his mechanics were horrible yesterday.
right.
Throwing off balance, not setting his feet, locking onto receivers at times. I think a lot of those problems that you expect to see in a young quarterback, but let's remember, this is a guy who sat for 2 years. This is a 3rd-year player. And so with all the expectation, everything, was this a
Yeah.
bad first game as the true starter? Yes, it was horrible. But do I think that they can't get Arch Manning dialed back in? No, because of that run game and because of that defense. I think Texas can still be one of the best teams in the country because their defense showed out. We said
Yeah.
on this show, our prediction for this game was that it was going to be a lower scoring game, that Ohio State was probably going to win because they were at home.
Yeah.
That's what we both said, and I think that's why they won. They
Yeah.
had enough of the crowd, and look,
And you had the
Ohio
Corso
State,
thing. You had the Corso
yeah,
thing.
but Texas twice turned the ball over on downs on Ohio State's side of the field. Once, first drive of
Yes.
the game, Texas is moving the ball. They're over the 50. They turn it over on downs, and then the other time they're driving, they're down. They get down to the goal line. It's fourth and goal at the 1, and they can't get in.
Yeah, I think if they just kick field goals on all of those chances, they win the game.
Right. So you gotta take points. I think
I think it's more of an indictment on Sarkisian because he's had trouble in the red zone going back to last year,
Yeah.
but also, we're talking about the mechanics that Arch was showing. I thought Sark was supposed to be this quarterback guru, and we've seen two really great, highly rated quarterbacks come through and just kind of be mid so far. I mean, you saw it
Yeah.
last year with what's his face?
Quinn
Quinn
Ewers.
Ewers, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a scenario with Arch that as much as he has talent, right? He really needed the development and we said it last year. Why if he's so great, why isn't he starting when Ewers is struggling?
Exactly.
And maybe that's the reason. He has all the physical gifts in the world. He has the mind to be a great quarterback. But people point out, and I've seen it a lot today, that they're showing the highlights of Arch in high school and the talent he played again, the competition he played again was so bad. He played in private school ball, and there are, kids that look unathletic running around trying to cover guys, and he's got all day to throw. And maybe he just still needs that development. And so the talent is there, but the bad mechanics and stuff are stuff that you can fix. He doesn't have problems that can't be fixed. And
Well,
Texas is good enough running the ball and good enough on defense to still be a top tier program this season.
yeah, Texas isn't going away, and I think Arch will get better throughout the year. But just talking about the talent, maybe he is overhyped just because of his last name. Like, if he
Yeah.
wasn't a Manning,
Yeah.
how would he be perceived?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you asked the question, overrated or underrated? I think Arch Manning as a Heisman candidate in his first year starting, I definitely think that is overrated. So,
Yeah, so Arch Manning not being the star that he was hyped to be, I don't think it's an overreaction. So I'm
no,
going
yeah.
under reaction there. So give me the under
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Arch.
yeah, I would agree with you on that. I just said the opposite end. But yeah. I don't think he's ready to be the star that some people hoped or thought he would be yet. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a great quarterback, but I don't think you're going to see him in New York this year.
Yeah, I concur. Damn it, I should have concurred. Okay. Another big game that we wanted to talk about was Tennessee versus Syracuse, which was played in Atlanta. So the um, Tennessee wins, and what we want to know is it over under. Give Joey Aguilar the Heisman right now.
I think that's definitely overrated.
That
But
this is more of a jab at your traditional sportscasters who are ready to give Nico the Heisman after his one game last year.
but I will say that I saw some of Nico playing last night out there at UCLA while they were getting crushed by Utah, and Aguilar definitely appears to fit better in the Josh Heupel system than Nico Imaialava ever did.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I mean we talked about this before the season that there's potential that this is an upgrade because you didn't see really good quarterback play out of Nico, even
right.
though he had all the talent, he had all the measurables at least.
Yeah.
But Joey Aguilar stepped right in. I mean, he ran the ball. He had a beautiful deep ball. I mean, he hit his receiver in dead stride. I mean,
Yeah.
it was impressive.
I mean,
Um,
I think you saw a lot of him with the Tennessee offense, but a lot of some stuff that he did at App State, right?
mhm.
His completion percentage wasn't great, but he had a lot of deep passes. He threw for a lot of yards, threw for a number of touchdowns, put up numbers in the Josh Heupel system. That's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
That's the name of
I
the
heard
game.
someone today say that the system is systeming.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe they found the right fit. Maybe it wasn't the guy that you had to go spend $1 million on. It was the cast off of the cast off. But he seemed to have a good day.
They
It was
picked
a
him
good day
up
for
off the
Tennessee,
island of misfit toys.
right? Um, Syracuse kind of came back a little bit, but we knew they lost a lot.
Yeah,
Steve Angeli, I think had a decent day, but like they don't have what they had last year, and Tennessee was just too much.
I was actually surprised to see Syracuse make the comeback that they did, because they got within striking distance about midway through the game. But after watching just the first half, I was thinking, man, Tennessee's just going to, run away with it and blow them out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of impressive to see Syracuse come back, and it makes me question whether or not the Tennessee defense is really that great. Hard to say. I don't think we really learned a lot out of this game, just because Syracuse, they did lose a ton. And I don't think they really replenished very well.
Yeah.
So over and under. Is it overreaction to give Joey Aguilar the Heisman right now?
Yeah, I think it's an overreaction.
I agree. We'll go with the under on this one. All right. So the other game that we would talk about, but it's actually going on right now, is Notre Dame, Miami. So we'll talk about that game a little bit next week.
It's 14-7 right now at halftime. Carson Beck's 13-20, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. So looking pretty good for Carson right now. Notre Dame has not got their rushing game going, only 61 yards. So I know it was raining earlier.
Miami defense was looking pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll see what's going on there. But Miami up at halftime on Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to me. So we'll see how it ends. But we're going to jump over to Georgia versus Marshall for all us dog fans out there. So my question here, over or under, is it overreaction? The Fire Mike Bobo Club has been shut down.
No, that's an underreaction. I think that the Fire Mike Bobo Club is always going crazy, and so no, I don't think. I think they should be quieted down, but I don't think they will be.
Yeah.
You saw enough out of Georgia on offense on Saturday to feel good with Gunnar Stockton running the offense. Now, I went to the game, and I think I felt a little bit different in the stadium than I did when I came back and watched some of the game later on and kind of looked at what was going on in social media. Seemed like people were pretty happy with the offense. There was definitely some, not anger, but some frustration with it at times in the stadium. But I think I went back and I kind of took a look. And if you look at, Georgia was able to go up 14-0, block the punt, up 21-0. I think Kirby shut it down. The Georgia defense was so dominant in this game that Marshall could not even move the ball to, I think they had 1 first down in the first half.
Well, they didn't even cross the 50 till the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
The Georgia defense was playing so well that I think Kirby realized, hey, let's get a lot of guys in here. Let's not do anything stupid. We literally threw the ball down the field twice the whole game.
So, yeah, and only 1 throw to Noah Thomas.
Right.
So we're definitely not trying to show anything on film right now in these first 2 games. And that's good. That's a good thing that our defense and our offense is good enough to put up 45 points and be vanilla as all get out.
Right.
And
of course, the spread was 38.5. Georgia wins by 38. I guess 48-7. Georgia wins 45-7. So
what was really funny?
Some about Kirby in those 39-point spreads that he always just underachieves.
Well, what was funny when I was watching the game live, when they kicked the extra point, the announcer said, "Well, this is a really important kick for a lot of people out there."
So
that was awesome.
Things I liked on offense, and I know you did the post game show. You covered a lot. Things I liked on offense that I saw. Yeah, Dwight Phillips was impressive. He looked. Last year he was a gadget guy, right? But he looked quick. He looked big. He looked good.
He looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, I was very surprised that I didn't hear an update on Roderick Robinson being out for injury. So it's weird. We didn't see him. We didn't see Josh McCray until the fourth quarter. And I know he had been sick and missed some time in practice, so maybe that's just coming along. But it was kind of weird to see Phillips as the 2. You'd heard about Bowens, you'd heard about Bo Walker, you hadn't heard a lot about Phillips, but he looked really good. Nate Frazier didn't really get much going. I mean, he had a couple of nice runs, but I think, overall he didn't break anything, but he looked fine.
Yeah, I mean they didn't really do so they gave Phillips a lot of toss sweeps,
Well, yeah. I love the toss sweep.
which is
Jasper
awesome. It's
Arrington,
like
it's my favorite
yes,
play in football.
yeah.
Yeah, the one for the touchdown in the first quarter was brilliant. It was brilliantly blocked. And you got
Did you see some of those blocks by Juan Gaston?
yeah, you gotta love I was gonna say, you gotta love Juan Gaston, right? True freshman getting in there. Only thing is he got hurt, man.
I know.
And Kirby was saying it's an ankle, and man,
he,
ankles when you are
he didn't come back
360
in.
or no, not after that.
Mm.
And when you got an ankle and you're 340, 350,
Yeah,
man,
it's not good.
we won't. I don't think we at earliest we see him Tennessee. I definitely don't think you see him at all next week. Looking at some post game stuff, I mean, it looks like I thought the offensive line did well. Pass protection was not nearly as good as run protection was.
Hmm.
Ernest Green struggled a little bit, which I was hoping he would come back and be stronger. But
Yeah, it just seemed like the pass protection just was breaking down just like just a hair too early.
yeah,
You know, it's like if Gunner had half a second or a quarter of a second longer to throw on some of those deep balls that he was trying to hit,
yeah.
that
I
he
also
would have been
think
able to set his feet and throw.
Yeah. I also think it was weird because it was like 85 yesterday, which okay, that's not that hot. Man, it was muggy and
It was
miserable in the
muggy.
stadium. Like I was really hot, and I noticed a couple balls that Gunner threw kind of came off weird. I think the guys were sweating a lot, and there was a couple balls that just came off his hand weird. I don't know if he was having some issues with that, but they're just the passing, like I said, they didn't really explore the downfield passing that much. A lot in the second half, it looked like more kind of design passes, so you saw some obvious coverages. Gunner's numbers weren't great, but they weren't horrible. But you do gotta love what we saw out of Zachariah Branch. What you got that guy for, get him the ball and let him go.
As advertised.
Yeah. The dude's electric. Glad he wasn't actually hurt, it was just cramps.
Oh, I know.
Um,
I
it
was I was gonna cry.
yeah. So very good to have that kind of weapon on the team. Was disappointed to see. I only really counted one drop, and I guess you could count the Cash Jones non-fumble as a drop as well. It was Dylan Bell on a pass that would have been, for a good gain. But yeah, overall, I thought Gunner played a pretty good game. There was one play that Gunner didn't throw very well. It was a long pass. I think it was completed to Delp, I think. That should have been an easy touchdown. But Gunner
Yeah, he
threw it
threw it
off his
behind him.
back foot. Well, he didn't plant his feet. He had time. There was no pressure. But he didn't plant his feet, and so he threw it behind him, and Delp had to catch it. And if he would have just planted his feet, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Easy throw. So that's one thing I think if there's something Georgia needs to work on with Gunner, it's hey, not every play is a running play that you got to play. You if you got time, set your feet, throw the ball, but positives for the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I thought it was great to see. I mean, first game of the season, it's kind of nice for this year to have two kind of preseason games at the beginning of the season because
Yeah.
it is a brand new team, and I know you can say that about pretty much everybody now
Well,
with
I
the
was going to say that.
transfers.
So one of the things that flipping around, I was in the car on the way to Athens and coming back, and I've got satellite radio, so I get different broadcasts, right? And one of the things I noticed across all the broadcasts was the color commentaries talking about their teams and about how much coaches were amazed that they were still getting to know their teams this year across the country.
Yeah,
Everybody, so many transfers and so many changes across the board for everybody that lots of teams just feel like they're still getting to know their players. And that was so weird.
yeah, it is. It's very weird, but I mean, this is the new normal.
Yep.
And we saw a lot of these teams play really well, though.
Yeah.
even with all the new players in these big games. But going back to Georgia, um, I was the most impressive thing about Saturday for Georgia was the defense. It
It-
it gave me 2021 vibes.
The defense was awesome. And you know what? They did that without even having Dalen Everett out there. Kirby said in the post game, yes, he's injured. That's all he said. So I have no idea what the prognosis is on Dalen Everett, but we did that without our best cover guy. But you saw Ellis Robinson make some plays, which was positive. I mean, this Marshall team couldn't pass the ball anyway, so
Yeah,
they
they
completed
tried it.
one long pass, and it was clearly an offensive pass interference that wasn't called late in the game, the backups. But
Yeah, that's when
I
they finally
loved
crossed the 50.
right. But I loved seeing some of these guys, these new guys stepping into new roles. Gabe Harris,
Yeah,
dude looks
y-
different this year.
yeah, he's a dude.
Raylan Wilson had an awesome tackle there in the first quarter. I think it was a third down, and the Marshall quarterback flushed out. And if he would have gotten past Raylan Wilson, it'd have been a 30, 40-yard run. Raylan Wilson caught him for a loss. And then, man, my dude, Chris Cole, God, that guy, he's just such a quick freak size, speed. Just he's going to be a star. You saw so many guys play well, and it was weird. Georgia didn't have a sack in this game. Georgia didn't force a turnover in this game, but they had a ton of pressure. They had tackles for loss. They didn't miss tackles other than that one third down where the quarterback kind of almost got a first down, but it was still fourth down. Um, just solid play, quick, guys covered, no break, no big plays broke except for that pass play. Just a really, really encouraging day for the Georgia defense that they can continue to build and they're going to need when they play Tennessee in a couple weeks.
Yep, that's going to be the big test. Going to
Yep.
Knoxville.
Yep.
Mm. Looks like Miami just scored again. That's 21-7.
21-7. So,
Okay, so that does it for our over-under this week. Going to touch on our prediction results. Right now for the season, I got 6 correct, and Street is at 5. Thanks to Farmageddon. That's the only difference. We had all the same picks last week, so the only ones we missed on was LSU, Clemson, and Bama and FSU, which everybody but Lee Corso missed on Bama and FSU.
yeah. Yeah, I saw that all of the schools that Lee Corso either played at or coached at won on Saturday.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I thought it was great. Just wanted to touch on a couple things. Just some week 1 themes that we saw, and one of them that really stood out to me was transfer quarterbacks making immediate impacts. I mean, we saw guys come in and look like they've been running that offense for years. You saw this with Tommy Castellanos at FSU. He took over that game. Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, stepped right in, actually did better than the quarterback play they've had. John Mateer was super impressive with Oklahoma.
Set
And
the Oklahoma record for yards in a debut by a quarterback, breaking a record that belonged to Baker Mayfield.
yeah,
So you break a Baker Mayfield record at Oklahoma, you're doing well there.
it's pretty good company to be in.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you had Jackson Arnold at Auburn, had a great game, especially on the ground. So I think this is going to be something really interesting to watch over in the future, because we really did see a lot more transfer quarterbacks having big days over players that were just getting their first starts after sitting behind people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was impressive. And the whole transfer thing, Georgia had, obviously we saw a lot out of Branch. You didn't really hear much out of Mendoza. Noah Thomas had a quiet day, only one target. But across football, I think one of the most impressive transfer debuts was Justice Haynes up at Michigan. Over 165 yards, somewhere in that range, 3 touchdowns, 10 yards a carry. That was a guy who was a high 4, low 5. Georgia wanted him. He was a legacy. Went to Bama, didn't fit in. Goes to Michigan, has a big day. So they got a big game next week against Oklahoma, and we'll see if that continues on.
Yep, yep. And another big thing that we saw is just increased parity across power conferences. And we all know why. The transfer portal and NIL has just allowed teams to reload faster.
Yeah.
And it's none more evident than FSU.
Right. They went out. They had a bad year. They lost a lot of players. They brought in a bunch of new guys. Those new guys contributed and beat an Alabama team that had also, taken advantage of the portal as well. Had a lot of guys transfer last year. Looked like they had more guys stay this year. So it's a different landscape. It certainly. I was joking with people in the stands when Branch scored. I was like, we paid a lot of money for him. Like that's what he was supposed to be. That's why we got him, because he's fast and he can make people miss. So that's the name of the game. And it's funny because talking to people, this is money is more and more, more beyond just the diehard fans. With the casual fans, people are starting to understand it too. And the old school people, man, they hate money. They hate it. And I said, yeah, but it's legal. Well, it doesn't mean it's right. Yeah, but it's legal. I had that argument multiple times on Saturday.
Man,
So
you just got to say that you need to take the Kirby approach. It's the system. It's how it is today. So you either get with it or you get left behind.
right.
Doesn't matter if you like it or not. Doesn't change the fact that you still got to go out there and recruit high schoolers. You got to recruit your own team, and then you got to recruit off other teams.
Yeah, constantly. That's why these teams have general managers now.
Yeah. It's wild times, but just a great weekend. Call it a great week one. Nice to see some surprises and really good games. I don't think there was really any stinkers out of these top games. So hopefully we get more of this throughout the season.
Yep.
All right. So if you've been watching with us, or want to like this content, you're a college football fan, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out. We appreciate it. And you can find us on all the socials and listen to us on all your podcast apps. Okay. So we're going to briefly start a new segment. We're going to share the Nitro Show top 10. I don't have a graphic for it this time around, but I'm going to try to have one next time.
Yeah. And just a note, we both had Notre Dame in here as placeholders. They're currently down a couple scores. So just know that they may be falling out of this top 10 list, but they are still there for now.
Yeah, that makes me actually want to swap a couple here.
You're swapping on the fly?
Yeah. Triple stamp and a double stamp. Okay. So how do you want to do this? Number 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
Let's do 10 to 1.
Okay. So my number 10 is Arizona State. I thought they looked great. They won their game, and they look like they're going to continue to roll. And I thought that's why I put them in the top 10.
Yeah, at number 10, I got Michigan. We talked a lot about Michigan earlier this summer and how we thought they were dangerous. And Justice Haynes was a beast on Saturday. I think they won 34-17. It wasn't like they blew them away, but I think that they are a solid team. And if Justice Haynes is running the ball like that and Underwood, plays like he did on Saturday,
Underwood looked good.
Yeah, he would look good. So they can go. They've got a game next week. I think they are poised to continue to get better throughout the season. So right now I got Michigan at 10.
And at number 9, this is one we actually agreed on. We both have Tennessee at 9. Um, Impressive win against Syracuse. The defense still kind of looks a little shaky, in my opinion, but I think they're a little better than Arizona State at this point.
Yeah, I think it's the fit of Aguilar, right? That was the question, right?
Yep.
Was the loss of Nico going to upset things? And I think we knew, or we felt they were going to have a pretty good defense. Also felt Syracuse wasn't as strong as they were last year, but just how well did he fit in that offense, and how well he played in the things around him. I think that's a good spot for them. That's a major jump from where they were in a lot of the early polls. Yeah, I think Tennessee looks like a solid team. So I got them at 9.
All right, now we're getting into some crazy zone here where we're a little all over the place between both our picks. So
Okay,
at number 8, you have Clemson,
I do.
which is solid, but I'm going Florida.
Which
And when you first saw this, you're asking me, "Oh, what?"
I mean, yeah, they put up tons of points, but they were playing Long Island and they threw the ball deep a ton. And yeah, I mean, okay. Um, I like I said, a lot of this season revolves around DJ Lagway. If he's healthy and playing good, they're going to be good. They've got tons of talent, but I don't know if a win over Long Island to me doesn't say, hey, let's put them in the top 10 just yet.
So
Um,
the reason I have them in the top 10 is it's week. We just got through week 1, so we don't have a lot of tape on anything. Um, I was a little disappointed with how Clemson lost that game against LSU. It being at home, you'd think that you'd get a little more out of it, especially Cade Klubnik. So that was one reason why I dropped them out of the top 10. And there's been a lot of hype behind Florida going into the season. DJ Lagway. Uh, at this point in the season, I think they're a top 10 team.
yeah,
Now, 3 weeks from now, after they play a whole bunch of ranked teams, might be a different story.
yeah. I kept Clemson there because of the play of their defense. Their defense played great. Um, Even though they gave up some points, I still think their defense is really strong. Um, their number one receiver was a little banged up in the game too, and I think they're going to continue to win. I still think Clemson is a really strong team. I was just overly impressed by LSU, so I didn't feel the need to drop them. I still think they're going to be there at the end of the season.
Fair enough. At number 6, I
Wait, you
had.
skipped 7.
Oh, did I? Yep,
Yeah,
I did. Sorry. At number 7, I actually have Michigan right here. So I moved them up quite a bit. I was really impressed with Bryce Underwood, Justice Haynes. Um, it was pretty much what I was expecting out of Michigan if they got a passing game.
yeah,
So I still stand by my original statement of Michigan being the most dangerous team in the Big Ten. Uh, Got to keep an eye out on that.
yeah. I've got Oregon. They won big. They've got talent. Uh, they were there, and I think they're a good team, and I think they have a chance. So I didn't feel the need to really move them around. I think that's a good spot for them right now.
Yep, yep. And at number 6, I actually have Oregon there too. Same reason, big win. Quarterback DJ Moore is his name.
Dante Moore
Dante Moore. Who's DJ Moore?
plays for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, there you go. Dante Moore. He looked really good, and it just looked like there was no drop off from Dylan Gabriel to him, and it looked like a typical Oregon team, really fast, high scoring, and we know that defense is going to be good as long as Dan Lanning's there.
Yeah. So at 6, I've got Texas. I mean, for all the faults, they had more yards than Ohio State. They ran the football well. Their defense played pretty much lights out. I think they're a really good football team, and I think they can fix the problems with Arch. And I think they're a better football team than the teams currently that I have behind them in that list. So I didn't feel a need to drop them that far. You go on the road to the defending national champion's home field, you lose by 7, win a game when you got stopped at the 1-yard line. I think they're still a solid team. So to me, I didn't see the need to drop them out that far.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I did drop them out of the top 10, but again, this was a week 1, and main reason just being at kind of the inefficiencies that they had on the offense. We know their defense is elite, and that's going to keep them in a lot of games. Um, but if we continue to see the same type of offensive performance output throughout the year, which we don't expect that, but it's a possibility. I can see the teams that I have from 10 to 6 being able to win those games if they were to
Right.
go 1-on-1 in a neutral site. So, so that's why I don't have them in the top 10. I'm just trying to spark controversy. So at number 5, this is where I actually changed mine on the fly here because keeping up with the Miami Notre Dame game here. Miami's currently winning 21-7, and it's late in the third. So I actually have Miami at 5 because,
Yeah. I mean, I had Notre Dame here.
yeah,
Like I said before the game, I think if Notre Dame won, that's where I was going to slot them in. Obviously, if Miami wins, hangs on to win, Notre Dame's going to drop. I don't think I'd have Miami up this high. Still haven't seen enough them playing at home, rainy conditions. Um, but you got to be impressed, right? Right now 72% completion for old Carson. Looks like he's got 3 scores, so he's having a good game. Uh, Miami defense playing well, so I could understand it. Like I said, Notre Dame I had there as kind of placeholder just if they held serve. So
yeah, yeah. I moved them up here because this is where I had Notre Dame, and I was also just very impressed with what I saw from Miami's defense in the first half.
yeah,
I mean, just shutting down that run game, and Notre Dame has one of the best run games in the nation.
yep.
So Miami at number 5 for me. At number 4, really our 4 through 1, we agree 100%. At 4, we got Georgia.
Not much to
Nope.
say there. Defense dominant,
Yeah.
offense was good. More to say. You continue to develop next week. Move on. Get ready for Tennessee.
Yep. On to Austin Peay.
Yep.
And then we got Penn State at 3. They actually had kind of a slow start watching their game, and I was getting a little concerned for them. And they eventually blew them out and pulled away, but yeah, the slow start was kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, not a great rushing day for them, honestly. Only 135 yards on the ground out of that, that good backfield, but they threw for 303, so they got it going and they kind of pulled away there. And they were playing Nevada, decent team, but I'm not worried. They've got lots of leadership on that team, and their challenges are going to come down the road. So
Yep. Um, at number 2, actually number 1 and 2, we have flip flopped. So I have Ohio State at number 2. Uh, I thought their win was really impressive against Texas, being the number 1. But they got that game at home,
right,
and LSU had to go on the road, hostile environment at night, and they won. So that's why I put LSU at 1, Ohio State 2.
yeah, I kept Ohio State at 1. To be the man, you got to beat the man. But also their defense played really well. Offense will get it going. It's first game, new quarterback. Uncharacteristic drops from Jeremiah Smith there early in the game. So I think Ohio State still should be 1. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by LSU, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because that's the key. The offense is going to be there. They get that defense going. They're going to be a great team. So, uh, from from not thinking they're a title contender preseason to already having them up at number 2, they've certainly impressed. So that's kind of where it shakes out.
Yep. All right, so that's our top 10 for this week. We'll do better next week.
Yep.
So, going to move on to, we're going to look ahead at week 2 and give you our predictions here. So, first game we got coming up.
So before we get started, this week's slate is nothing compared to last week's. Last week's we had tons of great games. This week, not so much. Last week we spent a lot of time on predictions and breaking down games. This week, not so much. We're going to be just hitting a couple high points and giving predictions, and that's what we got. So this will change week to week. Some weeks we'll be spending more time on reacting to games. Some weeks we'll be spending more time on predictions. Just kind of depends on how the season goes.
Agreed. So, let's start with Iowa State. So this is big. One of the bigger games, just because the Kirk Ferentz win total. If you want to give a little more details on that.
So if Kirk Ferentz wins on Saturday, he will become the winningest coach in Big Ten history, passing Woody Hayes. So, and I guess ESPN reported it that way, so we're going with it. Though I did look it up, and there was a coach at University of Chicago who was a founding member of the Big Ten back in the 1890s who had more wins, but I don't know if they don't count that anymore. But ESPN was reporting it as a chance that he was going to break it. It's just a testament to Kirk Ferentz being there that long. He's never been, he's never been a great coach, but he's been a pretty darn good coach for a long time. Defense, punting, things like that. But it's just a testament to him being there that long. And it's impressive when you look at the names on that list: Lloyd Carr, Woody Hayes, people like that. So,
yeah, I agree.
But from the Iowa State side, this is an important game for them coming back from Ireland, trying to get back, to the Big 12 championship. Obviously, this is a Big 10, Big 12 game. It's a battle in state. It's an early season rivalry, so those are always fun.
It is. So as far as my prediction goes, I'm going with Iowa State. I just think they have a better offense. I mean, everybody has a better offense than Iowa for the most part.
So it's a 2.5 point spread. So, basically they're saying it's it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go with Iowa. I think they get it done. Kirk Ferentz gets the record win over in-state program. It's a good story. Why not? Give me the Hawkeyes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I just think the Cyclones have a better offense. They got them at home, and yeah, so Iowa State for me.
All right, up next we've got number 14 Michigan traveling to Norman to take on number 18 Oklahoma. This one's a 2.5 point spread as well right now. Oklahoma is favored at home. Burl, what do you think? We got two teams on the rise.
Whew. This is actually a tough one. Because you got Oklahoma at home. Home field advantage is huge in any college football game. John Mateer looked like a man possessed last week, and you know that Oklahoma's defense is going to be really good under what's the coach's name?
Venables.
Brent Venables. Thank you. You know that their defense is going to be good under Brent Venables. They were really good last year, so throw in an offense that can score. It's going to be really tough. But then you got Michigan on the other hand. They play great defense. They can run the ball, and now they have a quarterback.
Yeah, I think everybody who's listened to our show knows kind of our feelings on both these teams. When I talked about my playoff prediction teams, I think I mentioned both of these teams as potential playoff teams. And I said that I think it comes down to this game. As early as that is in the season, and it's an out-of-conference game, I think this could potentially decide one of these schools makes it and one of them doesn't. I'm gonna lean Michigan here. Justice Haynes impressed me, and Underwood played well, and I think they have, once again, riding that momentum they had at the end of the year last year, going to Oklahoma. Yeah, Mateer played pretty well, but I just got a feeling that Michigan's just a little bit better right now overall. So give me Michigan to win the game.
Solid pick. I'm going to go Oklahoma,
Okay.
and it's really hard for me to pick Oklahoma because I've been so high on Michigan. Um, but Michigan is missing one of their linebackers for the first half, and Bryce Underwood is still a freshman, and it's on the road. He's got to go on the road.
Yeah.
We're if there's one thing we've seen over this past week one is you know, young new starting quarterbacks going on the road hasn't worked out very well. So give me Oklahoma. I mean, yeah, give me Oklahoma. I think the offense with John Mateer is going to be solid, and they're going to play good enough defense at home. Oklahoma.
All right. Up next, we've got Arizona State taking on Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State, is probably one of the bottom feeders of the SEC right now. Arizona State, obviously, we've talked a lot about them, but it's an interesting matchup because you got Arizona State, Big 12 against an SEC school. And so this one could get interesting because Mississippi State does have, some talent.
And it's only a 5.5 point spread.
Yeah. That's interesting too.
That's really surprising to me, just given it's Mississippi State.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those games I think that could go a long way in deciding whether the Big 12 can get more than one team in the playoff. And I know it's lowly Mississippi State, but every win that conference could notch over an SEC program or over a Big 10 program, just like with that Iowa State Iowa game we mentioned earlier, like every one of those games is crucial to the conference's record against those other conferences. So if they want to be the one to get more than one bid like the ACC did last year, they're going to need to win this game. 5.5 point spread. I mean, I'm definitely going Arizona State. I think they're a better football team than that.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Arizona State. Sam Leavitt returned. They got the most production coming back of, I guess, the Big 12's second highest rating of returning players. And I think the Big 12 is going to be the most entertaining conference this year. They've got a lot of solid teams. You mentioned Iowa State; they're going to be right there, and Arizona State, they're not going anywhere. So I just think they're going to be too much for Mississippi State. Arizona State with Sam Leavitt all the way. Okay, so next we got an SEC game. Like we said, there wasn't that many great games to pull, so so we're going Ole Miss and Kentucky here.
Yep. So the reason we put this in here is because Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year. Pretty much prevented them from being in the playoff. Ole Miss, they scored 60-something points. They left their starters in. They threw a ton. But I watched a little bit of Lane Kiffin after the game, and he questioned some of Austin Simmons' decisions. I think he threw 2 interceptions in the game. So even though they scored 60 and had tons of yards and stuff, I don't think he was quite satisfied. This is an important game for them because, like I said, it kept them out of the playoffs last year. So spread's 10.5. I don't know if I think Ole Miss is going to win. I think they're going to win handily. I think the spread should probably be more like 20, but I'm going to go with Ole Miss to win the game, and I don't think they'll make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, and I think Kentucky has just been losing talent the last couple of years. We saw them lose Barry and Brown to LSU. That's a big loss, and it's not like they're restocking the cupboard consistently. We normally think of Kentucky. They always have a running back who's one of the best running backs in the SEC, but we haven't seen that for the past couple of years, and
yeah,
it's not this year either. It is at Kentucky, so that's good for Kentucky. But if it was later in the season, maybe could see leaning Kentucky. Just if it was really cold, just because I've been there when Georgia played and it was really cold and we almost lost. But
Yeah.
Ole Miss is just going to be too much for them.
Okay.
Even with Austin Simmons making bad decisions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was just the 2 picks, but Lane, he's
Yeah, it was
ugh.
also near the beginning of the game too.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
real start. All right, next is this is one of the more interesting games to me is Kansas at Missouri, 6.5
Yeah.
point spread.
We always think about this as a basketball rivalry, the border war
Yeah,
that they call this game. And, there was a couple years where it didn't get played after they got moved out of the conference, but this should be a fun one. Missouri, they've got Bo Pribula playing quarterback now because
you
Sam
said it
Horn got
right.
hurt. I know I did because Sam Horn got hurt. They lined up first play of the game with both the quarterbacks in there, and Sam Horn got hurt, so it's Pribula's job. He threw a nice long touchdown pass. He had a couple of good plays. We know Missouri's got some talent on their team, but Kansas is one of those teams, and we talked about it last year. Like they got off this bad start, and then they reeled off 3 straight wins over ranked teams. Um, so they're a dangerous team with Kevin Jennings back there at quarterback.
Yeah, they are. Great second half of the season last year. Uh, they won big opening week, and they seem like just a team that's going to be flying under the radar right now, but could end up being really good down the stretch.
Yeah. So Kansas is looking to go 3-0 already because they played week 0. They beat Fresno State. They beat Wagner. They've given up only 1 touchdown in each game. So defense is looking good.
Solid
Spread
running
is
back.
early spread 6.5 favor Missouri. Give me Kansas. I'm going to take Kansas in the points.
All right. I'm going to go with Missouri. Missouri being at home, home field advantage always helps. Bo Pribula, he looked he's going to be a good quarterback. I mean, we've seen that, and we know Missouri is always pretty good at having good offenses with good quarterbacks. So,
Yeah.
given that it's solid quarterback play, they got a couple guys on defense that we're familiar with. Give me Missouri.
Yeah. And last game, Georgia Austin Peay. It's a 1AA school. There's not going to be a spread on the game. So, Burl, my question is, Georgia's going to win this game. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
problem. My question to you is 2 questions. 1, what are you looking forward most? And 2, does Georgia win by 50 points or more?
I'll answer the second one. No.
Okay.
Because they could have done that against Marshall and they didn't.
Okay.
So I don't see that happening unless the second and third teams just go nuts. But what I'm looking forward to most is seeing more out of the offensive line. Can they pass protect a little better? How are they going to respond in the run game? Is Juan Gaston going to play? Who steps up to fill that gap? So I'm looking forward to seeing the offensive line.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say they don't win by 50, but they might win by 49. What I'm looking forward most is downfield passing. So this first game was about running, establishing the run, showing that Gunnar Stockton keeper option play, which looks great. This game should be about establishing the downfield threats, getting Noah Thomas, getting Colby Young more than 1 catch, getting Dylan Bell going. We know what Branch is. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep, should be good. You going this week?
No, I'll be at a wedding, so I am not going. I'm breaking Josh Pate's number 1 sin, going to a wedding in the fall. So.
Yeah, I think there was going to be an executive order about that too.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, that does it for this week. Nitro College Football Show. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Seen a few people live during the show. But we'll be back next week with another recap over under of week 2 and predictions for week 3. So until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.